guys, and welcome back to another Interactive Tuesday. And today we are going to do something a little different. We are going to take some paper, a few little dice, and turn them into tiny worlds. And because apparently pretty paper isn't enough anymore, these little worlds are going to light up. And these particular dice are from Avec Love to Craft. They're available in action stores in different parts of Europe, especially in places like the Netherlands, Germany, or Belgium. And this year, we've even started seeing action stores opening in the northwest of Romania, which is wonderful, except I live down here by the sea in the southeast. So, those stores aren't exactly around the corner for me. We are talking about several hours of driving. And although I would absolutely love to say that I have never driven several hours just to buy craft supplies, I cannot. Because whenever we have work or business in Bucharest and there is an action store involved, I will be there. Obviously, it's practically a professional obligation. And honestly, I really wish Action offered home delivery, especially for craft supplies. It would make my life considerably easier. So, let's talk about something that I think a lot of European crafters will understand: the struggle of actually getting craft supplies. Because when you watch a lot of crafting content online, especially from North America, it can sometimes feel like there is an endless world of craft supplies just waiting to be ordered. You see a new dye collection, a new paper line, a new ink, a new adhesive, and somebody says, "Oh, you can find it here." And you're sitting in Europe thinking, "Yes, but can I?" Because sometimes the answer is no. Or technically yes, but only if you're willing to pay a rather frightening amount of money to get it here, and that's something I think we don't talk enough about. There are so many supplies that are completely normal and easy to find for crafters in North America that are either difficult to get in Europe, incredibly expensive to import, or simply aren't available to us at all. And sometimes it's not even a matter of money. Some companies simply don't ship to certain European countries. There are brands that I would absolutely love to try, but Romania isn't even on their shipping list. So you can sit here looking at something you've fallen completely in love with, and there is nothing you can do about it. And then there is shipping, because the price of the craft supply itself can be perfectly reasonable, and then you go to checkout, and suddenly the shipping costs almost as much as the product, or even more. And yeah, there can be taxes, customs, import fees, and by the time everything arrives, that little die set that looked like a perfectly reasonable purchase has turned into a small financial decision. And here's the thing: most of us aren't running craft businesses, we are hobby crafters. We make cards because we love making cards. We color because we love coloring. We buy pretty paper because pretty paper makes us happy. We aren't necessarily selling enough cards to justify spending enormous amounts of money on importing supplies. For many of us, this comes out of our own pocket, and that changes the way we shop. You start looking for alternatives, you start looking locally, you start waiting for sales, you start making lists, and sometimes you become very, very good at saying, "No, I don't need that." Which brings me back to Action, because this is one of the reasons I really appreciate stores like Action. You can actually walk into a physical store and find craft supplies that are affordable enough for someone who is doing this as a hobby. But anyway, this little vignette caught my attention because of their versatility. You get this basic little dimensional structure, and then you can completely change the world inside it. And that is what I love about them. You are not limited to one occasion, you are not limited to one season, you are not even limited to one style. You can create a beautiful winter scene, a little church, snow, trees, and a reindeer. You can turn it into a cozy little city at night with glowing windows, a street lamp, trees, and a little red car. Or you can take it somewhere completely different and make a summerside scene with a lighthouse, a little sailboat, the sea, and some fish. And obviously, there was only one choice for me. I live by the sea, so the lighthouse was happening. I actually filmed the process of making this one, and while I was making it, I kept thinking about how much you can change just by changing the colors and the little details. The structure stays the same, but the feeling changes completely. The winter feels magical, the city feels warm and cozy, and the seaside feels bright and peaceful. And that's when I decided I couldn't just make one, because why would I? So I made all three. And I think seeing them together really shows what these little dice can do. Three completely different little worlds, made from essentially the same idea. But of course, this is Interactive Tuesday, so they couldn't just sit here looking pretty. They needed to do something, and this is where I decided to add lights. Because apparently I have reached the point in my crafting life where a dimensional card is no longer enough. It has to illuminate itself. And honestly, I love how much difference such a tiny thing makes. The winter scene changes completely when the little light comes on. The city becomes a proper nighttime scene, and the lighthouse. Well, the lighthouse gets to do exactly what a lighthouse should do, it shines over the sea. These cards are fun to look at and hopefully fun to give to someone. And that's one of the things I love about crafting. Sometimes we don't need a reason. Sometimes we don't need the newest collection or the most expensive supplies. Sometimes we just need a little idea that makes us want to sit down and create. And if you're a European crafter watching this, I hope you know you're definitely not alone in the whole how am I supposed to get that here struggle. We may have to search a little harder, we may have to wait a little longer, we may have to find alternatives, and yes, sometimes we may have to plan an entire trip around, but we still make beautiful things because that's what crafters do. We improvise, we adapt, and we find a way. So, three little vignette cards, three completely different worlds, and a little bit of light, because why make a card when you can make a tiny world that lights up? And no, now I want to know, which one would you choose? The snowy winter scene, the cozy city, or would you go straight for the lighthouse and the sea? Let me know down in the comments. And I'll see you next Tuesday with another little bit of interactive magic. Until next time, bye guys!